Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, Brian. Sorry, I know I didn't say hello. How are you? Okay. Right, let's see how we actually do this now. Chat. Don't worry, David. I wasn't ignoring you. No, I'm in live. I'm in the live game. Okay, that one's working. Please say to the Lord God, yes, that one's working. Okay, we're all connected up. Okay, so let me break this down. There is an option within YouTube to kind of set your streams for some time in the future, which I've been kind of looking into doing for some time. And the last time I did it, what happened tonight happened exactly the same. And I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. When I checked it earlier, it jumped to the correct stream. It said in 9 hours this stream will go live, blah 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 blah. But as soon as I go live, it does it through a different part of YouTube that then starts broadcasting. But YouTube acts as though you're broadcasting 2 in a row, which you can't. So it's only showing the video on one, the chat's in the other, and it's a bit strange, and I don't know why I can't get my head around it. I'm assuming it's 2 separate stream keys, but it tells me to use the same stream key that I would normally use in a stream, so I don't understand why it's not setting it properly. But I'm gonna sit down on Friday and have a really good look at that and work out why. I don't know what's happening. So okay, so let's really get into the nuts and bolts of what I want to talk about today, which is about my thoughts on the game. So I'm gonna look at your questions and stuff, but I might ramble on a bit at times. Nothing new there, I know that. So if I don't see anything, I will try and do a catch up and go back over some stuff and see what I can pick up on. I know there's a lot of the big streamers now are talking about this, and I thought, you know what, I think everybody kind of wants to know our thoughts on it, and I think that I have some quite polarized thoughts from other people, and I thought, well, you know, it'd be nice to come on and kind of, you know, talk about how I feel about certain things and stuff like that. So without further ado, I will say welcome in Marshall, welcome in Brian, welcome in Julie, welcome in Bob, welcome in Kathina, welcome in David, as long as he thinks I hadn't scared him away, and welcome in anybody else who's watching. Thank you for coming along, and I will try to do my best. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to do this while I'm playing. So I have this little place that I have to go to here, so I have to do a bit of driving around and stuff. So I'm going to kind of do it in between that and this. So all things in due time, Kathina, please. I think you'd be surprised at my thoughts about mining. Right, so I've kind of got a list of how I'm going to do it and what order I'm going to do it in. Let me get out the station before I crack my head on the roof. Oh, I haven't flown in this little thing for a while. It's nippy. It's a nippy whippy little thing. Does everybody like my new lights? You can if you want, Brian. If you want to come along, you're more than welcome. I'm gonna go collect arsenic, as well as a few bits and bobs while I'm talking, because I thought that would be the kind of the best thing to do. So let's start. I'm going to kind of go through the things that the things that I feel less about first, and I'm going to get through them because they're the things I can spend the least amount of time talking about, and then I can concentrate on some other stuff for the bigger stuff that I want to talk about. So you got a new SRV? Oh, nice one. So I will get round to it, Elite Bastard. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait for later on for the exploration stuff. But I have got a lot of thoughts on the exploration stuff, so that's going to be good. Right, so let me just see the planet I'm going to. If I remember, it was 1AA. Because once I get down on the planet, then I can really kind of concentrate on it. Actually, the music isn't loud enough tonight. Music okay for everybody? 1AA, yeah. Shock horror. 1A. Would that be 1AA there? It must be, mustn't it? Yes, because I've been here before. Right, okay, so let's start with something easy. So the codex. So for me, the codex is massive. It's a massive part of exploration and discovery. Number one, because it's going to let us help. It's going to help us find things that we haven't necessarily known about. It's going to give us directions as to where to find things, albeit as far as I can see, I think it's only from people in your squadron, although I could be wrong about that, because I stopped using the beta, so I don't know. But apart from that stuff, the codex filling us all in on backstory, having it read by professional kind of audio readers, has just made it that kind of thing that you can just click on in the background and really learn some of the backstory about Elite. I really hope they're going to build on it. I suppose they are. I mean, at the moment it's quite a basic codex. It's not like it's hugely dense, but I would like to think that sometime in the future they are going to build on it much more and much more until it becomes like a big compendium of Elite dangerous information. But as it stands at the moment, I really liked it to be able to just click on stuff about like Raxlar or different companies, learn about different companies, was really nice. I would hope, I don't know how difficult it is because there's probably so many, but I'd also like them to even make little ones about different groups within the games, or maybe just some of the highest ranking groups. It's nice, and it's nice to be able to learn about it without having to go outside of Elite. That's not to say that the second party websites and things like that don't give us more information, because they absolutely do. But it might point some people in directions of things that they don't know about. There's a lot of people who still play Elite, particularly PS4 peasants, PS4 players and Xbox One players, who genuinely, because they're on the PS or the Xbox, they're not sitting at a computer, and quite often they're away from computers, so they don't actually really know about stuff. There's loads of players. I remember when I first started streaming, not so many now, but when I first started streaming, people coming along saying, I didn't know about EDDB.io. It's like, what rock were you under? But they're like, oh, I'm a PS4 player. Ah, well, there you go. That explains it. Right, I'm coming in a bit too fast here, so I'm going to slow it down a little bit. So the fact that some things will be able to be learnt about that way, I think they need to add codex for kind of all the minerals, all the things like heat veins and heat exchanges and what do you call it, wake scans and stuff like that, just to give people an explanation of what they're actually looking for, what they're actually looking at. It's all fine and well saying that's a grade 5 material, but if you have no idea what it is, where it comes from, you don't always know how to look for it. And actually, if you were to get more of an explanation of, for example, this part is used on big warships or something like that, for example, it gives you an idea. Ah, right, I should go into a warring system and look for that particular, look for some big ships, and when I see some big ships, I'm either going to be able to scan them or shoot them, or somebody else will shoot them, and I can pick up the parts I need. So it doesn't need to kind of be expanded in that way. I'm sure it will. I genuinely think that they will be adding to it, and I do think that maybe even what we saw in the beta is just a smidgen of what's in there. Shut up, Brian. I was only joking. It was a joke. Right. So you know, it's the codex for me is a really nice addition to the game, and something which can be people can really enjoy. Oops, let's find somewhere to land, and can help them learn more about the game. So that's kind of my part on the codex. There isn't really much more I want to say about it. Things like searching for alien life forms in L'Orange. Is it Blancmange? In the Blancmange clouds? That's really nice. You know, it's definitely gonna head us all into certain directions. Obviously, in the beta, I don't think it was working how it was intended, but then again, I think they might have had a really kind of base version of it again in the beta. I hope so. I don't know. Does it show that much difference on the PC apart from with VR? I don't know if it does. I don't know if it does. It might do. So let me just make sure I'm in the right place here. Right, yeah. So, is Brian in? I didn't even notice. No, he's not even in game yet. He's too busy chatting. I don't think it will give spoilers. What I think it's going to do, David, is it's going to point us in the right direction. I think there's more in the Elite universe than we know about as players. I think there's a lot more hidden out there. And they've said in a meeting at some point, you know, how we're not people. I can't remember the exact percentage that we'd discovered. And I think they've said, look, we have to get people out there and we have to get people looking for things. And the only way we can do that is by pointing them in the right direction. And so that's what that's been built for. It will allow, believe me, if people think the Gnosis was interesting, I think that the new system is going to allow Canon to really kind of take off as a player group, or at least a group that can add to other players' experience. Oops. Why am I... There's something... I worked out how you do this now. But it's going to let me land now, isn't it? So... Right. Thanks very much, Malcolm. Alright, no, they'll get the lighting changes, won't they? Part of the update. I didn't think it would make that much of a difference. Anyway, so that's my thought on the codex. Next on the list is what was I thinking? UI changes. UI changes, that was it. So I haven't gone in to the UI changes a lot, and because I'm not in the beta, I can't really show it in this right panel. But I like a lot of the changes. It took a while getting used to some of them, but being able to actually physically look at your ship and choose options from that, I think just felt a little bit more... It felt new, but part of me was thinking, if you'd have been used to this from the beginning, it would be so easy. So I do think that... where are we going here? I do think that that's going to end up being much better. As for things like the new docking procedure, perfect. You know, the new UI just makes it so much easier, and it'll actually make the macros work better as well, which I've always kind of had a problem with. I think the macros are all going to work better now, so that'll be a bonus for me. But other things that I'd kind of... Was that Brian? I'd noticed a few things in the UI which I just thought were nice little additions. Hey Cartel, how's it going? Welcome in. So I really like the new UI. They've had... I don't know if they've... My cat's having a bit of a cough here. Sorry about that. I'm not killing it, I swear. Oh, arsenic on the first go. You alright, son? Don't worry, he's not dying. He's got a hairball, but he's just refusing to get it up. He's refusing to get up and actually cough it up. Oops. So the bits and bobs in the new. You could hear. Can you hear what I'm hearing here? Why am I torturing myself? Because I'm getting some arsenic and stuff. I need arsenic. So that's my ship. Let's go in this direction a little bit. Hey son, do you want to actually get up? One second, my cat's joking, but he's just sat there. Oh no, it's not. No, he's just sat there like it's nothing. Right. So, where was I? It's so funny. He's been like it for days, and he just can't. Normally he gets fur balls up really easy, but he's just been lazy there. He wouldn't even get up out of his chair. He's too comfortable. He's like, I'll choke here, thanks. I see that meme of the dog sitting in the house on fire. Why have I got all these bloody markers and nothing's coming up here? So yeah, so the new UI is definitely an upgrade. I think they must have somebody else. I think they've got other people to either work on it or look at it. Which is another point, is whether, I don't know whether there's been wholesale changes in the development of the game. I know some of you were talking earlier about Sandy in the Sandy San Marco in the Discord. I didn't actually read what you were all writing about, but like I've said before, I always made jokes and stuff, but one sec. Get talking. That's it. He's just looked at me like, what the fuck are you doing getting me up? Right. So. I hear a ship. So I'm guessing that's Brian. So, so I think they've got other people working on it. And you know, as much as I made fun of San Marco, I think they needed a change. And I think they did the right thing by like whether he did it by choice or didn't. It's not that I dislike the guy, but I just didn't think the game was going in the right direction. What was I was thinking something earlier that yes, there was a time when myself and Brian had just started, I think it was, we'd just started that big trip, and I was sat here one night just after I'd finished speaking. We'd gone off stream, and I was speaking to Brian, and Brian was saying, you know, I was saying to Brian, I don't have an ETA or of getting back to the bubble, and Brian was saying to me, well, there's nothing really much in the bubble for me either. We'll just take it as it goes. We'll stay out here until the beta dropped. And I don't want to speak for Brian, but I will speak for myself. But that is exactly kind of how it felt at that point in time. It was like, kind of done with this game. You know, it felt like FDev had kind of let the community down by not explaining things at the Gnosis. Which, as I'd said at the time, I wasn't so upset about the Gnosis myself. I was more upset that people had been let down when they could have had the truth explained to them. And so when... Hey Cybersec, how's it going? Hey Darren. And yeah, it just really felt like I mean, I think the change had already been way made by then, but it really... I remember sitting with my housemate, who's not a gamer at all, watching a stream with Ed and Sandy. And my housemate turned to me and said, "Are these guys serious?" And I went, "What do you mean?" She went, "They just don't look like professionals. If they're trying to kind of get people to buy a product..." This was the last update, I think. She was saying, you know, if they're trying to get people to buy a product, they're not doing a very good job of it. And I was like, yeah, they're pretty much wing it. It's like one of my streams. They just come in, wing it, and hope for the best. But, you know, it did feel like that we weren't getting really good value for money. Things were going live, massively buggy, things weren't working properly, everything was getting nerfed left, right and centre. And so I think it's going to come out, I don't know, I think it's going to come out in the next couple of weeks. Definitely before Christmas, if anybody feels that way. So when I heard that, you know, when I thought that Sandy had got moved on, I was like, yeah, you could tell the streams just felt a bit better, and it felt like we were getting some really good content. So to see that they've made those changes, and to get back to the original thing I was talking about, UI changes, is that I think somebody else has looked at the UI and said, why are we doing click, click, click when we can do click, click, or we can just do click, and that's it? Why are we doing all of these extra button clicks and all this stuff? I remember watching an interview of a woman who did the UI for The Last of Us, and while she was talking about it, they were actually showing like the old UI, and she was saying, I took one look at it and I was saying, we can't do this, you can't do that, in the heat of battle you cannot be switching to this, that and the other. And I really felt like, I remember at the time thinking, wow, the people at Elite could do with looking at this, like at Frontier, sorry, could do with looking at this, because, you know, we need to, I'll put my lights on just for you, Bob. Because we really, the UI sometimes just felt really unusable. I think it's going to take a while to get used to the next one, because of course we're so used to it being one way. But at the end of the day, most updates, that's how it's going to be. I know that Kathina was saying something about they have changed some of the mapping buttons or something. You were saying to Bob earlier, which is good. So they've been listening to people who are either, they've been listening to people who are either streaming or playing the beta and mentioning it on the forums, that why it didn't make sense that you could click in but you couldn't click out of the FSS. So it's good that they've made those changes kind of on the fly, and they're listening to people and they're implementing it super fast. So it's nice that they've done things like that, and we'll talk more about the FSS a little bit later in the stream. So as I said, these are the things I'm kind of not so bothered about. So other ones next one I want to talk about is localized voice packs. These, I don't know if I'm wrong, are these the new voice packs that came out when they were talking about localized voice packs, or is this kind of the new voices within the game? Because I don't know exactly which one that meant, but I'm assuming it's kind of the new voices in the game which come up, or if it's not, that's what I'll talk about anyway. The new voices kind of when you go into battle, there's battle chatter. When you kind of go into some situations, you have a voice telling you what they want you to do, and I just think those are all nice little, I've forgotten the word they use. Do they call it comfort of whatever? But things that make the game feel more involving, because I've been talking about this for a while. I've said the game feels way too empty. The game's just another reason when I went out into the black. I think a few of you were in the stream where I was talking about, I think we were talking for a good few hours about how empty the universe was, and even though we were out in the black and you expect it, let's just get Brian into the, oh no, he's in Shindar to Desra. Don't know who I heard landing. Oh, that was the one. No, yeah, the localized ones were good actually, because I put the Spanish one on mine and pretended I didn't know what it was. So those were quite good as well, actually. So yeah, the localized voice packs are the language ones. Okay, so I should have put the German one actually. It would have made it feel like it was bossing me about. So I put a Spanish one on because I live in Spain, even though I don't understand Spanish very well. So. But that is good for local people who play the game and maybe didn't understand what they were hearing in English, even though a lot of it comes up on screen. So that's good. Let's move on to the next thing as soon as I close in on this. Hopefully it's a meteorite. Is it a meteorite? Come on, mother... Yay! Right. Next one. Now, this is one I want to talk about. I don't know much about it because I didn't read a lot about it, but I have heard other people talking about it, and I did want to kind of chime in on it, which is the Thargoid conflict zones. So somebody was saying that it's kind of a case of you go in, you battle some Thargoids, and then a big bad Thargoid turns up, and you have a big fight with that Thargoid. Some people like it, some people have moaned about it. I don't know what there is to moan about, essentially, necessarily. You don't have to go into them. And if people are thinking that it feels maybe too gamey because this big bad Thargoid drops in at the end, this game is an MMO, and that's what happens in MMOs. You have raids, incursions, all these things. So it only makes sense that this game would have them too. I do think that quite often that Elite Dangerous is trying to tick a couple of different boxes. So I think essentially it's trying to tick 3. It's saying, hey, we're a space game first and foremost, then we're a space simulation, and then we're kind of an MMO, or maybe it's in a different order. I don't know, but we've got quite a bit of stuff here. I'm enjoying this. For the first time, found more metallic meteorites than I have before. Right, so yeah, so Athena's like kind of saying, "Hey Jess, how's it going?" Hey Joe Soap, welcome in, by the way. So kind of Athena's saying this thing that some people are saying, like it feels too video gamey and whatnot. But you know, if we're playing an MMO, let's have some MMO type things, you know. I think it's important to have those options, not for everybody, but so yes, actually I do want to do another part to my channel which will be nothing to do with streaming, which will require me to kind of look like a bit like this actually. So thanks for telling me. So yes, incursions, by the way, Joe. I mean, I don't know if you play MMOs, but incursions are incredibly difficult. If anybody's seen me do an incursion when I'm playing The Division or something like that on my own, because I've tried to do them on my own, they'll see how fast I get downed. I've only ever completed one with another group, and the reward just wasn't worth the time. I think it took us 4 hours or something. So it's... You know, people, we've got this group of people who, some people come and play this game as a game, and at the end of the day, this is a game. It is a game. Doesn't matter which way you cut it. If it was a sim, we would all be paying 600 quid an hour to get in a machine somewhere in Staffordshire. Don't know why I said Staffordshire, but you get what I mean. We'd all be paying to get into this machine, and we'd be playing in that situation. No, I'll turn it on for you now, Brian. It isn't a sim, because there are no sims on the PC. I love to play... where is my beacon? Oh, Brian. I definitely have my beacon on, mate. Oh, Christ on a stick. Hang on, Brian. I'll recall my ship. I played, where was I going with that? Yeah, I played Microsoft Flight Simulator for many years on the PC. I had all the little things, got rid of them when I moved to Spain, but I had, you know, the altitude boxes. I had, what else did I have? I had kind of the altitude boxes, all the little switches for the landing gear and everything. I mean, I took it quite seriously and played it for a long time, and it still wasn't a simulation. I mean, it just wasn't. So, you know, I'm not knocking anybody when they say that. It is as close to a space simulation as we can get, so yes, you can tag it with that, with kind of that tags to say it is a space simulation. It's definitely more in depth than most games, definitely, and it does have some serious simulation parts to it. I don't know what FDev necessarily see it as, whether they see it more as a space simulation or an MMO. But you know, it's kind of got all aspects, and I think that's kind of because they're. I think that's just because they are trying to please people. Well, I don't know, Dave, because I haven't got online at the moment. I'll have to look at it. Oh, I can't get in the ship. But I will keep it in mind, because it is something I will at least have a look at. Sorry, let me just get in the ship. I can't get in the ship. Okay. Brian, you're gonna have to find me, mate. I can't do this. Oh, there's Brian anyway. So, hang on, let me just have a quick look. I'll let Brian try and find me. Let's see what people are saying to this. I know that people are going to kind of be... I know that people are probably going to be biting my head off. It's a simulation! Right, okay, Cathena's the first. It's not Grand Theft Auto Online. No, it isn't. It doesn't. It isn't. But it has got the grind of an MMO. In a simulation, you don't need to have a grind. Well, in a simulation, you definitely don't need to have a grind. Certain things would be very static, and you wouldn't have to kind of boom around and do all that different stuff. So, oh, Cyber, you should come back in actually, because I've recently started doing combat stuff, and I do all right. So, maybe come in and someday, and I'll kind of teach you the ropes a little bit, or at least try and help you out a little bit. And Cathena will probably try and help you out as well, but she might not now if I say it's not a sim. I don't know. Ben, welcome in. About Elite for exploration. Yeah, we'll talk. We will get to exploration tonight, because it's definitely on my list. I just thought I'd put it last. I think it's like I can't remember, Dave. I don't know if it's like $4.95 or something. I think euros. It's not interface gaming. Yeah, absolutely, Dave. I think David. Sorry, I don't know you might have disdain for being called Dave. You know, I like Red Dead Redemption. I haven't hidden it recently, so it's alright. Just it's right. Okay, we got colours, so I've got Sandra. Nice one. So I'll talk about grind later, actually, because that's kind of what I wanted to finish the stream off on. So while I'm still here, let's get on to the next one. So, the Thargoid conflict zones. Scenarios and background sims. Don't really know a lot about what's going on with the combat and background stuff, because... sorry, the scenario stuff, because I didn't click into them. Although, what I gathered and what I saw in the stream, they looked really nice. I don't know how kind of... not static, because that's going to be the wrong word in this game. But I don't know how kind of rigid they are. Scenarios could get boring really fast if they're very rigid. Again, MMO style. You know, one of the things I'd like to do when I talk about Elite in the form of an MMO, don't kill me, Kathina, but when I do, is kind of compare it to games that I know. So I'll go down the route of the Division. There is a mission in the Division called Lexington Event Center, which Dave will probably know all about because he played Division as well. I've grinded that mission probably 1,000, 2,000 times, definitely. I've never got bored of it. I never get bored of doing it, ever. I really don't. I probably grind it less now than I did, but I've never got bored of that mission, and the scenarios and this really need to be the same if they're going to be so kind of if they're going to be so set. They really need to make sure that they're exciting enough and not too difficult that you can actually really kind of play them over and over and enjoy them. A lot of games do grind to dust, you're absolutely right, but there's good ways and bad ways of grinding, which is why I want to kind of get to that a bit later. So, has Brian found me? He is only 182 kilometers out. I tried to recall my ship, Brian, and it wouldn't come back. Can we not do like a wingman? Can you not do... Oh no, because it has to be a navlock. Right, is he flying over looking for... I feel bad now. Right, hang on, let me get rid of this ship again and call it again. Because he's been hanging around me for ages. Hang on, I was heading towards me here. That was it. That was the one. So yeah, so that's kind of that. The scenarios, the background sim, I really don't know much about. If you want to know more about what people feel about that, I'd come into the stream and talk to Nibbler. Anything that's kind of going to make the background a bit more complex might make it more difficult or easier for people to close systems down, but I really don't know about that. I'm assuming a lot of it's been done to make it harder for people to UA bomb places and stuff, so hopefully that will be the situation, rather than actually helping people UA bomb different systems and system states and whatnot. So crap on a stick. Did I just two-wheel it in an SRV there? Right. What is with me tonight? I'm not having a good time in this SRV. It's all over the place. Where's that bloody thing on? There we go. Right, let's call it back. So. I'll come to that, Kathina. I will come to it. Okay, new ships. I really like the crate, as everybody knows. I've talked about it. I like the way it feels. It's got a really good time to test the Mamba. Although I don't know, there was heat problems with it, but now I think they've all been fixed, and everybody's kind of semi-happy with it, which is good. Because it was kind of one of the most awaited ships. So having problems right off the bat with it probably isn't the best thing, but you know, they seem to have got it fixed. Again, feels like one of those things that they get onto. Why is this a mile away? Fucking hell. Do you know what? I take it all back what I've said tonight. I absolutely hate Elite, and I'm getting bored of this rolling around. The next planet I go to, I'm gonna mine lead and just carry it all in the bottom of the SRV. Right. So, I like the crate. I'm hoping I can make it into a bit of a exploration ship. Looking at the videos by the guy who's doing the video kind of in an Oculus Rift and having a look around, seems like the insides are really, really well done. How far am I going here? I just recalled my ship. I need to be going like a mile to get to it. So yeah, I think it was the Crate Phantom that I actually prefer. No, the Crate Phantom is the new one, so that's the one I like. I'm not on about the standard crate. Please say I can Please say I can get under this. If I've just driven 2 miles to crack my head on the top. It's not going to let me, is it? Ah, thank God. Right, I'll be with you in a sec, Brian. Right. So that's the new ships. I can't really talk a lot about them because I'm not into all the engineering stuff to do with ships. Kathina does that. Again, engineering, I'll come on to that later at the far end of the stream. Next one, squadrons. So squadrons... just tell Brian it's on. So squadrons... I really enjoyed what I saw of it. It didn't work at first. It didn't work at first, so I had to wait until they seemed to have made a few changes and everything started working correctly. From a creator's point of view, i.e. a creator of a squadron, it seems like a really nice system to keep in touch with your whole player base, and even like, because I'm presuming a lot of people who are friends will be squadroning up, and it just allows you to get more information over to the squadron rather than typing it into chat, and there'll be some persistent information there for people who aren't logged in, which is pretty cool. You know, if there's a hot spot for something that you've found and you want your squadron to know about it, then, you know, you can just put it in there and people can find what they need and go to it. So, or if suddenly there's a state change and you want to get on it like a car bonnet, it'll kind of have the exact same situation. The fact that you can rename ranks and stuff like that is pretty good fun. I mean, I'm just messing about in the beta, people. Don't take any of that seriously. Are you talking about me and the... Yeah, I was just about to apologise, actually, to anybody who's trying to get access to the squadron in the beta. I haven't been on, so if you're waiting for an acceptance and you think that it's because I don't like you, it isn't. It's because I actually physically haven't been on. If you send me a message in Discord to say that you've requested, I can quickly log on there and accept you. Don't have a problem doing that, and I will take my time to do it if you do send me a direct message. But if I don't see a direct message, then I just assume nobody's asked to join. So oh, arsenic, we've found some. So it is nice that it's been added, and yeah, it is kind of cybersex. It's a clan thing, more like a clan thing. But do we need selenium? Yeah, we do. Here comes Brian. Showing off his black trail smoke, I'm guessing. And as I think they'll add a few bits and bobs to it, I just think it's going to make it easier to communicate with each other and have a good time within the game. And anything that expands the game... Oh, it's niobium I'm full of. Is good for me. What is that? A grade 3? Okay. So, right, this way. So that's squadrons. Now let's get on to the more serious stuff. So let's get a bit more closer to the things that I like and that I love about the game, seeing as we're like an hour into the stream. So the first one I'm going to touch on is mining. Now, everybody who came into the mining stream to help, everybody who watched, knows that at the time I didn't like it, but I did make it very clear at the time that it wasn't that I didn't like it because I thought it was necessarily bad. I didn't like it because I couldn't really see what I was doing. I didn't really get a feel for what I was doing, and quite a lot of us didn't. People kind of losing their patience left, right and centre, until Bob managed to blow a rock up in my face, and then how they all laughed, thought it was hilarious, and thought mining was the best thing since sliced bread. So, but I've since gone away I rewatched my stream. I've watched Rusty's stream, Rusty Dog stream. Who else did I watch? Oh, some American guy. I can't remember the name of him. Not a famous, not one of the more famous elite streamers. But anyway, he was struggling at first, but then kind of got it and really started to click in on it. And then, of course, with the minor updates that have come, with that, do you know my cat does that exact same thing in the morning, Brian? You just turn around and he's there. The kind of minor changes that they've made to it now, actually making things pay out. I think to be honest with you, they actually, those payout numbers were already there. It was just we were all pissing and moaning so much about not seeing it that they were like, oh crap, we're gonna have to give people a bit more of an insight of what they're going to be able to earn. And obviously, so through watching those streams and through kind of, I did mention it in my stream that it could be 3-pronged or 2-pronged. It seems like it's a 3-pronged system, which means that you're kind of looking for the right thing to mine, and then once you've found it, you're going to hit pay dirt. So I don't know what the numbers are going to be like that, because you know how they like us to grind, but maybe they won't. Mining should earn, it should earn a fair few million, so hopefully it will. Hopefully it will. Phosphorus is 1, isn't it? So I'm gonna I think I'm just gonna mop up everything here. Oh, thanks very much, Dave. Let me just double check it. No, it should have come up. I've got everything connected as far as I'm aware. It might be slow coming through. That might be what it is. Streamlabs. So now I realise that it's 3-pronged, or that they have actually made it 3-pronged. Oh, it could be because I wasn't logged in. That's a bit strange. I don't know why it's completely logged out. Right, so give us a second. Yeah, but mine was a bit like that, Jess, at first, because we kind of we all went into it a bit. God's sake, why is everything funny on these days? Right. It's not showing anything at the moment, Dave. It might just be running slow or something. Because I wasn't logged in, so it might just be running a bit slow. When was it? What day was it that you did it? That was a donation from a while ago. That was from, because I think Kathina's was the most recent, if I remember rightly. I don't have a great memory. Kathina's, let's have a look, dashboard, my donations. Kathina Sundog, yeah, Dave said, and then Zoomski still gives a donation every month. I'm just checking out where everybody is and everything. Alright, it might just be a slow thing, Dave. Just make sure that it's gone through. I don't know if you did it through PayPal or something. Just make sure the payment's gone through on there. I'm just checking my PayPal now just to see if it's kind of sidestepped. Maybe it sidestepped the donations thing. Because it's all automatic. It should just like kind of click in. It's not showing in my PayPal yet, Dave, so it could just be slow. It sometimes it can get like that. Seem to have been logged out with everything actually. Now I'm looking at it. I wonder if I've reset something on my bloody PC. Well, we'll see. Give it a few minutes, David. It'll probably go through. Don't worry. I wouldn't worry about it. Sometimes these things do get slowed down, especially stuff like Streamlabs. But thanks for the donation. Okay, so let me just get back to that and we'll see if it pops out. I'll keep an eye on the screen here for a few minutes and see if it goes through. If not, we'll have a look at what we can do about it, Dave, if it doesn't. Anyone else found the new materials while mining beta? Worth over 200k. The one unit made. Ah, shut up, Kathina. There's Brian's ship, show off ship. Right, so. Yeah, it's probably reading my ship there. Well, I found my cat. Who says I never help you? Oh crap. There we go. Okay, so where was I? I was talking about mining. Yeah, so after I watched all that stuff, I've realised that mining is actually really good, and it will pay, pretty much whatever. There you go, Dave. It's come through. There you go. Thanks very much. That's to get me to play Red Dead Redemption, isn't it? Look, Dave, I've always said I'll invest stuff into the stream, so if you want me to play Red Dead Redemption, I will play Red Dead Redemption. Right. I think I don't know when I've got access to it. I don't know when I've got access to it from. Maybe we can do it up. Maybe we can do it in Wednesday's stream if you fancy it. It'll just be me and you, because none of these plebs will watch us. Right. So, well, June. Okay, let me put my teeth in. Let me get back to serious business. Well done, Geomac. Is that how you want it pronouncing, Geomac? Oh, shut up, Kathina. I knew you'd be moaning. What was I going to say? So yeah, the mining, as Geomac's saying there, the mining looks like it's really, really going to pay off, which is superb. Because I've always enjoyed it, and I love it when we do it in a stream. And I actually think that now, when myself, Bob, Brian, who else normally comes? Marshall normally comes. Joe Soap's been known to drop in. It's gonna it's going to make the mining streams really, really cool. It's going to make them much, much more interesting. It's just going to make mining on a whole more interesting for the viewers and for people who are playing it. So I'm really pleased with the changes. I think they're so good. It looked really good when we were doing it, which is it's going to take me on to the next thing I wanted to touch on. Christ, I've gone through them really quickly. Is the lighting changes. Lighting changes a huge difference. As soon as I've switched back to live, I've noticed it with immediate effect. Huge difference. Even having the option of night vision, on your ship, and then not having it in the live game has felt like I'm behind the times. Just the difference is huge. So the lighting changes, and I think they were talking about texture changes, but I don't know that they got round to that. They're making a huge difference to the game, especially in things like the mining zones. But of course now in the mining zones, when the sun goes behind the planet, you can now just turn on your night vision goggles and do it that way, which is just brilliant. I mean, it's, you know, you think about all those people who've kind of had to relocate and move around, and now you just don't have to do it because you've got something that probably would have been there all along. So again, those are those kind of little quality of life, that's the word I was looking for earlier, quality of life differences that just make you come back to the game. I don't think people in Frontier actually truly understood how much those little quality of life things actually help you. As much as Kathina's moaning about it, I've been playing a huge amount of Red Dead Redemption and I've yet to get bored by it. I was really surprised because I'm riding around on my horse for hours upon hours upon hours and I have not got bored of it at all. Hunting things, killing things, doing side missions, doing main missions, doing just trying to catch certain animals, skin certain animals. All of it has felt good to do, and I think that's all to do with the little quality of life things that they have in there that make it more, that make it kind of into a little bit changeable. It can be as little things as the weather effects to making sure you have like the right clothes. It's I don't know, there's just a lot of things about like sitting on the different horses with the different canters and getting to learn the canter of the horse, and if you get it down you can travel around everywhere really, really fast. If you don't get it down, then you don't travel around super fast. Yeah, definitely. Are you talking to me, Kathina, or are you talking to Geomac? It's quite new to the stream. Go easy on him. So I think it's you know, the lighting changes and everything have really made the game much better. On to the next part then. The orrery map. The orrery map is the one thing that kind of, I'm going to even stop driving for this part because I'm going to, well, I'll try and drive a little bit, I'll just not go crazy. The orrery, I've been wanting it since the very, very beginning. We were actually told, and this is this is one of the things I was talking about earlier, we were told before by a certain person in a stream that unfortunately orrery would never come to Elite Dangerous because it wasn't possible. At least, I don't think I dreamt it. I'm pretty sure I heard it, because a lot of people were asking for it, and it was said that it can't be done. That's why we've done it the way we do it, and unfortunately, you'll just have to deal with that respect. And so I kind of did. So when they said they were bringing one out, I was like, "That's it, boys, let's do it." Now, admittedly, you have to do all the scanning to get it to come up and everything, and it's kind of pointless now. one of the reasons people wanted an orrery was that you could literally get a really good visual idea of whether a planet would be terraformable or not. Well, that's why I wanted it. You would visually be able to see its distance from the sun, look at the numbers as well and say that one's going to be in the habitable zone. You could look at another one and say no, that one's way too far, it's not going to be in the habitable zone. So it kind of it was going to help that, and now we don't need that. So it's kind of defunct. The only thing it's really going to help you with now, I think, is when you decide if you're going to travel all that distance to look at, I don't know, something that's crashed on the planet. So it's kind of one of those things. It's 6 months, 12 months too late, but I'll still take it. It's not. Whoa, am I dropping off the planet here? I'm not gonna knock them for adding something that I've been asking for. I tell you where we are. We're in glitching territory now. We must have driven too far. We must have driven too far. Yeah, no, David, it's useless now. That's the problem. It is essentially useless, unless you just want to look at how the system looks. So yeah, it's kind of, but we've been asking for it, so we've been given it. I don't care, I'm happy. I am going to stop driving for this next bit because it's the major bit that I want to talk about, and there's a few little things in it that I want to talk about, because I've heard people really moaning about certain elements, and I don't know whether I agree, but I don't know whether they're wrong. So I want to get on to the exploration. And one of the main things I want to concentrate on at the beginning of this is to talk about the passive scan. That a lot of people are not enjoying the fact that there's this passive scan. Because in the past somebody would have jumped in a system, had a look, and then moved on if there was nothing decent in it. And then what can only be called a pure explorer would come along and say, I'm going to tag that system. Well, I actually think those pure explorers are very few and far between. And, you know, if Captain Cook had landed on an island somewhere in the South Pacific, or well, I don't know if he would have been in the South. No, he wouldn't have been in the South Pacific. That would have probably been, what's his face? Christopher Columbus. If they'd have landed on an island, they might not have stopped and looked for gold, but they would have charted it and had it down as, okay, I've been in that place. So somebody could have come back 20, 30 years later, 100 years later, and found riches there. So the whole thing about the passive scan, dropping it in it, logging you being in, I don't personally have a problem with it. If somebody else has logged the sun and I can't log the whole system, I'm going to look at it and go, oh, it's a shame, but it's not something that's game breaking as far as I'm concerned. For a start, I can guarantee you go 100 light years outside the bubble, well, 300 light years outside the bubble, and go off in a direction that isn't Colonia, or isn't the Claw, or isn't the Formidine Rift, you're going to find tons and tons of untouched systems as soon as you get out there. So I really don't know what the big problem is with the passive scanner. And essentially your ship, I would assume in the future, is logging every sun that you jump into, or at least trying to log some information of that sun, and therefore why wouldn't you kind of be given first discovery on it? It's a bit strange because I don't know about how the honkin goes feel about it. Like, I know Nibbler is somebody who honks and goes. So Nibbler is actually somebody who really does that. She doesn't actually tag anything. She honks and then moves on, and then sells the data on later, but never actually puts the name on them. So I don't know how they feel about getting the passive scan, because I'd be really interested in knowing what people like that think, because she probably thinks she deserves it. If she's jumped into a system, even if she hasn't logged any of the planets, Why shouldn't she get the money for that sun? She's the one that's gone through that system first, or passed through that system first. I don't quite get why you wouldn't want her to be given the kind of the medal for doing it, I guess. Yes, I know what you're saying, Kathina, but what I'm saying is, like, you're saying you're passing through, which you're absolutely right. But even though you're passing through, if you're the first one to fly through that system, then why shouldn't it go to you? Passive or not, even without, because essentially the computer that we use to fly in Elite knows that there's a sun there, and it knows what type of sun it is. The only thing it doesn't know is its size and weight and stuff like that. So why wouldn't it do a passive scan when you go in? You know, I get where people are coming from. I get where people are coming from, but I think those people, those purists who want to go in and log everything in the system, are very few and far between. And as I said, nothing against them. I think it's great that people have that attitude and really want to go out there and tag everything. I do think it's great, but like I'm saying, if you go 300 or 400 light years, maybe to even as few as 200 light years outside of the bubble, you are going to start hitting systems that are completely untouched. Completely. And there's more than enough places for us all to discover in our lifetime, and we probably still wouldn't finish this galaxy. I'm sure of it. So it doesn't feel like it should be an issue. But it doesn't passively scan the system in that way and give it all to you, Kathina. It's only the sun that you get your name on, isn't it, with the passive scanner? It doesn't tell the next person that they've discovered the water world and everything first. As far as I was aware, the passive scanner only gets the sun. So yeah, this is where it's getting a bit mixed up. So they can't get first discovery on everything in that system. They just get logged on the sun. So I really don't see... Well, what if... unless I'm missing something, I just don't get it, Kathina. I don't get what the kerfuffle is about. I honestly don't. Unless there's something that I'm missing in the process. Because even though you're not doing anything, like with your trigger or with your whatnot, you're still the first person to pass through that system. So you are the first discoverer. And your ship's basically doing a log for you. It's just like having... You know, it's like having something that... It's like having a GPS that says you're now passing through... So basically the passive scan, as far as I'm aware, Brian, as far as I worked out from when we were doing it, is that... I can see where you're coming from, Kathina, but I still don't know why. Okay, so taking the choice away from us as players, I can agree with you on that. I guess I can agree with you on that. I'm trying to think more along the lines of how would universal cartographies look at it, or something like that. That's only if you honk, Brian. I think when you drop into a system, it passively scans that first sun. So that's what Kathina's saying. Kathina's saying in the past people would have kind of decided to jump on and move on, and it doesn't matter. They leave it but the passive scan automatically gives you the main star, so therefore you destroy the system for everybody else, and you might not want to do that. It's a very hard one. There's part of me that feels for those people who want to leave it behind, but there's another part of me that says, you know, maybe Universal Cartographies want to know which ships have gone through there so that they can make a... But that's me kind of making story for the game that doesn't exist, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. But we'll see, they might change it. No, Brian, you don't even have to honk it. The honking thing is going to find the radio waves. So when you honk, that sends out a blast that looks for all the unidentified signal sources, all the planets, all the, you know, everything that's in that system. The passive scan is when you first come through the system, it automatically logs the star in your name. So, okay. I thought you weren't. I thought you weren't sure of what was going on. Sorry. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not. I think, yeah, I'm probably sat on the fence then, when it comes down to it. I didn't realise it was more about player choice. So I don't know. It's strange. Yeah, maybe right, maybe so. Right, anyway. Other explorations. The FFS system. FFS or FSS? I've forgotten. As anybody knows, when it first came up, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's great. No more leaving behind those water worlds in the distance and Earth-like worlds that are like on the other side of the solar system where you can't travel an hour to. It's just going to do it there and then. I do disagree with an element of it, and I know people are going to be like, oh, he disagrees with something in the FSS. I disagree with something in the FSS. I think the scan's way too fast. I know some people aren't going to like that. I genuinely think the scan's too fast. I'll take it as it is. I'll take it as it is, and I'll go with it. I'm not going to moan about it, but but it feels too fast. It feels too fast, and it feels, if anything, feels cheaty or something in exploration. That's the thing. However, and this is the truth, the actual time it takes to log a whole system kind of makes up for it. What I think it should actually do is, if there's something on the surface, it should give you a warning. Oh Christ, we're gonna have to move on from this planet, I think. It should kind of give you a warning that there's something on the surface, do you want to continue scanning? And then you have to wait for it while it kind of does a longer scan, maybe something like that. I don't think it needs to be a whole lot longer, but I think it needs to be longer than a kind of quick in and out. I do enough of that in my private life, so I don't need to, I don't necessarily need it coming into a game, if you pardon my pun. Well, it does actually, Brian, you're right, but I think it does that on the side. I don't think you have to wait for it to finish. When we were doing it before, it didn't seem like you had to wait for it to finish, so... But it's just one of those little things, you know. You can't drive around on these surfaces when they're like this, because you don't know where you are. And it's harder to actually find stuff, because you need to wait. Oh, I didn't remember it. Alright, okay, then I'm flat wrong about that then. Won't be the first time. They really need to fix these planet surfaces glitching out. Every planet surface glitches out after some time. Other things in exploration, I do like the fact that now it's going to tell you that stuff's on the planet. That's going to make exploration so much more interesting. It's going to allow people to go out and data gather for big groups like Canon Research. It's going to allow people to go out and do bigger things for them, so I think that's really cool. Oh right, I might give it a go. Look, I think it's just fixed itself, Marshall. Oh no, it hasn't. He spoke too soon. Whoops, it is. But again, you know, these are all my thoughts. They're not. Oh, one arsenic, nice one. I don't think that I should have control over how they do it. I certainly don't want everything changing just to please me. I'm very after this update. The major thing about this update is that it has made quality of life in the game so much better. The sinister difference, I'm kind of getting used to it. So I think that... Oh, have I missed something there? Yes, it's going back into live now is just absolutely impossible. And very, very difficult to kind of play in. So I welcome all of the exploration things that have been brought in. There's nothing about the new exploration I didn't like. Now, one of the things I did want to cover about exploration, which I think is a very fair point by a lot of people, is the whole probes issue. Okay. People complaining about probes. We've talked about this at length in this stream, and I think you just have to understand that FDev are not interested in selling Horizons with the base game as the base game. They're not interested in it. Their numbers must be telling them that we still make more money doing it this way, so we're not changing it. So therefore the probes have to be infinite. It is crazy, it's silly, but that's the situation, and I think it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna... If Horizons and the base game were together, I would say to them, no, we should definitely have to synthesize. I mean, you could synthesize 10,000. I mean, seriously, 20,000, 30,000. If you went on a big trip, you'd easily use them, and you'd have to synthesize some more. I wouldn't want it to get into ridiculous situations where you kind of mapping 2 or 3 systems and then you're having to find planets to synthesize on. I think that would be a little bit ridiculous. I think it'd be very surprised at how quickly you get through those as it goes anyway. I think we'd get through them faster than we think. Quicksand Brian, have you not seen that scene in Blazing Saddles? So you know, I'll go with it for the time being. If the base game and Horizons ever do become kind of the base game together, then I would happily accept some type of synthesis thing going on. The whole probing thing, I actually really liked it. I didn't think I would like it. there was something about it that made me think, oh Christ, another load of fannying about. But once I kind of got the hang of it, it's not that difficult to get 100%. It's not supposed to be that difficult to get 100%. Sometimes you'll miss when you're not paying attention, which will then teach you to pay attention in the future, which I think's quite good. So it's, yes, I mean, I get why they did it, and I totally agree with it. It's not something that I'm even gonna moan about as it goes. I don't. If some people have said, but they're huge and they go down to the planets. Look, that's a trail that you see getting left behind. We don't know how big they are or whatnot, and they're doing that for visual reference, I think, more than anything else. If we shoot a tiny little probe and you don't see where it's going, how are you supposed to visually know where it's going? Some of that kind of goes a bit into a pedantic area, I think. But one of the things that I do want to talk about is something that I've actually been doing off screen, and I want to talk about it because, yeah, I'd love to take all those things to a ring, Brian. You bring them on the next trip, eh? You do the 2 light year jumps. I'll do the big ones. But one thing I do want to touch on tonight, which I think does need kind of looking at in the future. I'm talking about not right now, but it definitely needs looking at in the future of this game for me. So I was talking about how just after the whole thing with the Gnosis happened, even though I kind of knew it was going to happen, but it happened in such kind of cruddy way, I lost a lot of faith with the game and was really unsure whether I wanted to continue with it. And my biggest worry was, if this game dies a death because of this, or doesn't do well in the future, I'm going to lose pretty much my channel, because everybody who watches this is pretty much Elite fans. If you watch my Red Dead streams, it's because you're very, very good supporters. Not like Bob, who only watches Elite. I'm only kidding, Bob. So the people who support me no matter what I'm streaming and kind of get involved, that's really good, but like a huge percentage of people do come in just to watch Elite. So I was really worried that, Christ, if this game dies a death, then so does my stream, and so would a couple of other people's streams. But having said that, a lot of these other people are really into space games, so they'd go and find something else, be it Eve or No Man's Sky or whatever. But if Elite dies, I won't be doing any other space games, because I don't find any other space games interesting. Elite's the one from my youth that I found interesting, and it's kind of the one that I've kind of stuck to now. The only thing that could probably pull me out of it would be something like an Elite. Who's that? It's Marshall. Or maybe a Star Wars type Elite game would probably pull me back into it. But I would essentially be away. There we go. Another person with black paint. Everybody's got black paint these days. Elitska, I think I've got it somewhere, Elitska. I might take you to it. I'll check it, okay? So yeah. So if this game kind of died a death, I know that's that would be where this stream would be going, and that would actually make me feel really, really bad. Let's have a look. What people are talking about. Okay, so this is where I'm going to touch on the next thing, which some people probably aren't going to like it. I'll have you know it's black, grey and white. Okay. So the next thing I want to touch on is off stream. I've been mat collecting. Or mats collecting, actually. It should be plural, because I was getting different things. And I was doing it in a couple of different ways. So I did it in the way that Kathina doesn't like it. I did it in a cheaty way. And Yeah, exactly. I think you and Brian alone could probably keep it going with your lasers and paint jobs. I was doing it in the cheaty way. I log in, and I've been doing it in the non-cheaty way. And what I wanted to do was kind of really test how I felt about it. Because anybody who's ever joined my Matt streams, I'm genuinely get angry after a certain amount of time and go, well, sod it, I'm off somewhere. And I've never just kind of sat down patiently. So yesterday I loaded up about, I don't know, about 6 or 7 hours worth of podcasts. Did it the other day as well. So I think in the last week I've done about 14 hours of Matt's collecting in Elite. And my thoughts on it, this is all for engineering, by the way. My thoughts on it are, how come Kathina didn't spend a penny? Does anybody think Kathina might secretly be Yamix on a wind-up? Let me get back to this, because it's really, really important, actually. And some of that I felt really strongly about at the end of it. You know me, I kind of live by my pants, and if I enjoy something, I enjoy it. If I don't enjoy it, I don't. I know that sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm right. So, for example, with mining, I didn't like it when I did it, but I was saying to people, no, there's going to be something in this, I'm sure of it. And then, I can't look at this bloody chat. It's take me away from what I'm thinking. So I wanted to do it off stream where I could just kind of chill and do it. And so I did use third-party tools, so be it websiting. I looked for tips. I did one night of cheaty stuff, and I did one night of regular stuff. And I've got to say that the engineering mats thing, everybody flying around in a souped up ship, which you don't want everybody flying around in, well, you do, because essentially you could have a souped up ship that was very specific to you and does what you need it to do in the right way. But what I'm trying to get at is, so I did a cheaty bit. I went to Jameson craft site. I went to Jameson's craft site, and I was getting grade 5. I've forgotten the name of them now. No, Jameson Memorials. Jameson crash site's much more cheatier than Dav's Hope. Much more cheatier. You can do it in 26 seconds, I think. Well, not first click, first... How would I put it? First target to final target, about 20 odd seconds. I was doing data, and specifically I was looking at those ones, atypical encryption archives, which you can see are full. And then I flew to a station, traded them, tried to beef up some other parts and whatnot. I spent 6 straight hours of filling up, flying to a station, trading, coming back, filling up, flying to a station, trading. 6 hours. Okay? Just with that one thing. I spent 6 hours doing it, and I still haven't really filled everything up. I still need a few bits of this, a few bits of that, a few bits of the other. And that's doing it in probably the fastest cheat way of anything in the game. You can't do Dav's Hope that quickly. Jameson's crash out, you really can. So it's a dirty word. So this is my point. And then I also did, another time, I did 7... No, let me get back to that. So I did 6.5 hours of that, okay? I then went on to do another 3.5 of looking for grade 5. I want to say abhorrent shield data. Let me see what it was I was looking for. No. 4 hours? 3 hours? 4 hours? I think it was 3 hours, not 4. But I did 3 hours of abnormal compact emissions data. Right? 3 hours. Re-login. So go into a spot. Re-login, scanning, re-login, scanning. The fastest known version in the game. I got 9. 9 grade 5 in 3 hours. And very little of anything else. I got a few other little bits and bobs, but nothing nothing spectacular. Now, well, no, that one was re-logging. Okay, that one was re-logging. There was another one I was looking for. Data mined wake exceptions. I went to combat place, I think it was. I was doing it. This was without doing anything cheaty. I flew around scanning every ship and its mother and its father and its kids. And I think I was getting a data mined wake exception around every 12th to 16th ship, which in those areas sounds really good, but it doesn't, because loads of the ships die and then it takes ages for some of them to come back in, and in some cases you have to kind of jump out and jump back in again. So that felt like a real grind as well. I can't remember how many data mined awake exceptions I got. I think I got 15 or something like that, but I was there for quite a long time. I don't remember exactly the period of time of that one. And then another one I was doing in combat with other people. Malcolm, it was Malcolm Hepburn. Yeah, it was Malcolm, who he was killing stuff and I was hoovering stuff up. And again, I wasn't really. We were doing it for. I think me and Malcolm did it for a couple of hours or something. And I just wasn't seeing a really good kind of drop rate. When it comes to like the grade 3s and stuff, they all drop really quickly, and you can fill up quite quickly on them. So, but if you trade them up, you just get such a disgusting trade rate that you might only get, if you manage to fill up on grade 3, you might only get 5 or 6 grade 5s for your whole stash. So trading up with a material trader is it just doesn't work. Even actually trading across, down and across, even that can sometimes give you really bad exchanges. Just really bad exchange rates on that. So the reason I'm talking about this is because this is one of the things that now I've been playing the game for so long and whatnot, everybody knows is kind of I've been unlocking engineers recently, and I don't mind the engineer unlock grind, as crazy as that sounds, because they really do add something to your game. So in order to get their trust and whatnot, I think you should have to complete quite a lot for them. But once I think you get to them, I think it should be quite easy to upgrade. That's a personal opinion. Easier than it is at the moment. Yeah. It's not just Elite, Cathena, it's MMOs, and they've written this game like an MMO, so everything that you want, it's dropping. And so pinning things, as crazy as this sounds as well, pinning stuff probably isn't a good idea, because pinning stuff tells the random number generator, whatever, or all I'm hoping that FDev do eventually, is they look and tweak the drop rates of the grade 5s. I'm not talking about having them drop every 2 minutes so that you can fill up in an hour, but I honestly think if I'm going to sit at a game for 8 hours, which is last night I did 9 hours actually, I should be able to get a fair amount of grade 5s. I should really be able to get a fair amount. I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of time to be grinding something. So it's it's just something that they really need to look at and tweak, because I don't think I can do it for a long time. And it might get to the point where I say, you know what, forget engineering, because it just takes too much out of my day. You know, at the end of the day, as I was saying before, this is a game. Yes, it's a sim. Yes, it's a space sim. Yes, it's an MMO, but it's still a game, and the drop rate of some stuff in this is terrible compared to other things that I've played. Yeah, exactly, Ellis guy. You don't need a second one. It is something that needs to be looked at. However, do I have an answer? Well, thank you for asking. Yes, I think I do. Mission rewards. Every single grade of every material should be available somewhere in some system as a mission reward. So systems where it's a plenty. I don't know. So if you're looking for, let's say you're looking for arsenic, you go to a mining system, and depending on the population and stuff like that, it should be given as mission rewards, especially if arsenic is available on those planets. So you do a few missions and you get given the arsenic that you need. You might have to put 4 or 5 hours into it, but you'll get the arsenic that you need, and then you can move on. So, you know, certain, for example, if you have to get, oh, I can't remember the one I was looking at yesterday. What was it? A really interesting one I was looking at yesterday, but I can't remember its bloody name. What's the one I was looking at yesterday? I can't remember. There was one I was looking at yesterday that you could only get from ships that had been blown up, and it was combat ships that had been blown up. So you have to actively go around and kill stuff to get it. And I was like, that could be in systems that build stuff. So in I've forgotten the name of the systems, the way they show up on INRA. You have technology. I think it's technology it shows up under. So they should be available as mission rewards in those places. Now people are going to say to me, but Swifty, they do give them as mission rewards. Not all of them get given as mission rewards. And certainly if you don't want to give, for example, if you don't want to give scans, frameshift scans as a mission reward, give us more of an idea, or have some type of system in place that gives us a better idea of going and knowing where to find them. And again, having that drop rate so that it doesn't feel so grindy. I think they'll be playing with those numbers though, Kathina. I really don't think we can rely on any numbers that we've seen in the beta, even in mining and exploration. I really don't think we can. They're going to be crunching those numbers. As soon as that beta goes down, somebody's going to be taking a look at a lot of spreadsheets and saying, right, we bring down the money on that, we bring down the money on that, we bring down the money on that, we push the money up on that, we push the money up on that. Or the gather rating and stuff like that. I'm sure they will, because it would seem silly if they don't. So hopefully that, Kathina, if that is the situation, it'll be good. Bumping me. And like I say, not everything has to be available in stations, but this is where the codex can come into play. If I'm looking for abhorrent shield patterns, let the codex tell me what exactly where I should be doing. I don't want to have to rely on down-to-earth astronomy, God bless his soul, because he's a nice guy, but I don't want to have to be looking at his YouTube channel to go find those things. I do want the game to kind of be going, well, you want to be looking for this type of ship because Core Dynamics use them in that ship. Alright, it's a Core Dynamics type... No. Who's Core Dynamics do? Ah, well, whatever. So, but for example, I want to know that you've got to go look for Type 10s in combat. Okay, let me go into combat and look for Type 10s, and I'll get what I need out of that Type 10. You get where I'm coming from. I just think it needs to be a lot more... why aren't I getting any lift off this? Ah, because I'm not near... Because I'm near somebody's ship. Christ on a stick. I bet this looks alright for everybody else. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Kathina, but you say, like, I'm not knocking you, but you say that you've got more than 11 need, and that's because how many ships have you scanned in the last 3 days? You've probably scanned more ships in the last 3 days than I will ever scan in my entire life. But if there was something that was needed in exploration that you really needed to unlock an engineer, or to gather something for an engineer, so let's put it into perspective. Let's say, Kathina, you wanted to do a guardian upgrade on something, an engineer upgrade on something, and they said you have to go out and find, to get the grade 5 upgrade, you have to go out and newly discover five Earthlight worlds. I'm trying to put it in a perspective that you'd be like, fuck that, you know? And I would be with you on that, because I don't think for you it's the nicest thing to have to go out and do. So I just think all these things is, like I say, in The Division, which is another MMO game where you grind the hell out of it, I have got every piece of kind of equipment that I need. I've not as many as I would like, but I've got every piece of equipment that I need at least once over. I've got some 2-3 times over, and I've got others I've only got one of them. But at least I have the luxury of using one of them. I'm not continually grinding for it, and I think I've put a lot of time into Elite, probably 6 times as much time into Elite as I have The Division, and I am still in this game kind of nowhere near unlocking anything. So do you guys want to go do some combat or something? So it's one of these things. I really want it to kind of yeah, exactly. I just think I want a few more of those let's have a look. So let me go find my ship wherever it is. That's Commander Marshall. Oh no, that's just bloody crap myself there. There we go. So, you know, I'm just saying let's try and make it more quality of life. I'm not talking about making it easier. You know, some people, they'll say, oh, you want it easier. No, I don't want it easier. Right, people, I'm going to have to go back to Shinrata Desra, so in order to get my ship. If anybody want to drop in and have a go at the doing some combat with us, feel free. But I think honestly, Kathina, the time that I put in yesterday looking for one of those grade 5 materials, I would have. Why can't I get on this? I would have probably so you disagree with me, because I think the engineer himself should be really difficult to unlock. Like, not crazy ridiculous, but it should take a lot of work. But once he's unlocked, because he's your friend, as long as you bring him a reasonable amount of stuff, he's going to upgrade your stuff, and that means, you know, once you've done all that work and unlocked him, you're going to feel like you've won something. Whereas at the moment, it's like, oh, you've unlocked him. Now there's another grind. Welcome to Elite. And, oh, the bloody map.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, boys, I'm going to have to log out. I'll be back in a second. So hang on. I'm just going to disband the wing for a moment, people. I will invite you all back in. Anyway. Let's see, Eladgar. We'll work out something to do with you one night. I'll do some I will do some delivery stuff with you one night. We'll get some type of convoy going, and we'll do a delivery thing. Because it feels a shame that you've got this game and I've never actually done anything with you in it yet. So we'll have a look at it. Right, Shinra Paul. You can always come in and pick up if you've got anything. If you've got a what do you call it? If you've got a Olympic controller, you could always come and pick up our dregs. Oh, great. Brian, can you invite me into the wing, please? If you'd be so good as to. Or can I put a request in, actually? Maybe I can put a request. There we go. Thank you. So yeah, those are all my feelings about the game, and at the end of the day, I love the game. I don't hate it. I don't want to knock anybody, like, you know, I know that sometimes, you know, kind of I make jokes about things and who should not be spoken about, and oh god almighty, he's back! He's back! Please no! So, I know, like, I don't know why I keep getting drawn back to this game. Partly it's because of you lot, partly it's because I actually like the game a little bit. But I'm always just trying to look for ways to make it better, and I don't want to piss on anybody else's chips, and I don't think that the devs should necessarily listen to me, but I do like to think that whenever I think of something, I always think of my feelings, somebody else's feelings, and somebody else's feelings, you know, at different ends of the spectrum. At least I try to. And all I want to do is try and be somebody who makes this game better, or makes this game playable for everybody. you know, I don't want things changing to make it necessarily easier for me, although some of the little things I do. But like I said earlier, I wouldn't mind waiting a little bit longer for some of the scans in Discovery and stuff. There's certain things I think about that maybe seem a bit too easy. But it is what it is. Yeah, well, hopefully, as long as, like I say, Kathina, I don't think those numbers in the beta are the... Do not boost in a DBX. Do not boost on entry in a DBX. Do not boost on entry in a DBX. Do not boost on entry in a DBX. I'm just going to keep telling myself this so I don't end up slapping into the back of the station. Somebody's trying to push in, they can bugger off. That was a close one. What am I on? 14. There we go. I'm getting better at flying, people. Have you noticed I'm getting better at flying? It's all the combat, that. Alright, Elite Bastard, thanks for sticking by. I hope it was somewhat entertaining, even if I was babbling on a bit, but I hope it was entertaining enough for you. I need a combat. I'd love a combat DBX. I'd love one. If it'd have to be semi-strong, but I would love a combat DBX. Or the boost on it. Okay, start pause. Now I'm gonna take my... I don't know whether to take my Anaconda or not. I've been working on this Anaconda based off one of Kathina's builds. I need to speak to you actually sometime on Discord about it, because it won't... Your build is right, but it won't seem to fit. Or it keeps saying like I'm over... What is it? You know, like oversized and everything. Not oversized. The module won't fit and whatnot, and I'm trying to get it into the correct thing, but it doesn't seem to be doing it half the time. So I'm not sure if I have to build it in certain stages, but anyway, I'll get to you about it. So, because this is why I was asking questions the other day about what was I asking? Yeah, you can make one. I'll be happy if you can. This is why I was asking questions about taking stuff out, because this Anaconda I normally... Alright, Brian. Yeah, it's been a bit of a pain in the backside at times. I've sworn at the computer a fair amount. Okay, so make sure I got my fire groups right. Okay, my fire groups are fine at the moment. So this is just testing this ship out actually. Where shall we go, Marshall? Galaxy map. Let's see what we've got. We could go into somewhere that is in war. I don't like civil war because we've got 27,000 people, 150,000. I think I did. I can't be sure. Where did we go last time to the war state? I can't remember where it was. We go kill Thargoids. Oh, there's a Hazarez. Okay, which one's it close to? You've already told me this before, but I can't remember. It's really close by, isn't it? Second gas giant, okay. Right, yo. System map. Oh, do you know, it's because I went to the first one, Marshall. Okay. Right, let's see if I can survive this one. Hey, Smitty, you've missed it all. What happened? You'll have to go back on the DVR, mate. 2 hours waffling. I might actually try and make a video of that for anybody who wants to watch without going through like the few hours of waffle and answering questions. Not that I don't mind answering your questions. I don't mind answering questions. And get ready, because in the next few weeks I will be doing my Christmas playlist. I'll be telling people I'll be doing some things over Christmas. You just have to ask Athena on a very cold day, I suppose.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Do you mean meetings at work, Smitty? You should have been like, I'm sorry, gentlemen, ladies, but this child is going to have to die because Swifty's doing a stream, so I need to get away from here. I'm sorry, but that child shall have to die. Are you coming, Cybersec? Are you coming? I'll let you off. Oh crap, okay, right, sorry. Do you have to do, you don't have to do a mission for Shinrata, do you? Okay. Cool. V8X Centauri. You wouldn't happen to know which planet it was, would you?
Frameshift drive charging.
I thought, well, Cybersec used to go out and do discovery stuff with me, so I supposed he was. He says he's Ranger, but we did... Cybersec and I did 2 really big ones. It's not that I assumed it. I've Cybersec was like one of the. Alright, okay. He used to Okay, there we go. We've got Hazres here. Okay. Scott, if you're in game, why don't you come and do a little bit of shooty with us if you would like? You're more than welcome to drop in. Oh, really? What happened to it? Yeah, see, he flew to Sagittarius A twice, no? It wasn't one time, was it? Yeah, it was one time Sagittarius A, but we did another one as well. We went somewhere else. We've done 2 things together. Deep exploration. Tomorrow? I don't know, Smitty. It's not my normal day, so... if I am streaming, it will probably be something different because Dave is desperate to see how ineffectual I actually am. This Thrustmaster T1600. Thrustmaster T1600. Hang on. I don't know what that one is. I'll have a look when I drop in here. I haven't got any daft modules on here, have I? No. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure it's not the one I was thinking of buying. So I don't want everybody else's 1600. Okay, let's have a look. I don't think that was the one I was thinking of buying. Well, I'm not buying it. Santa Claus is buying it apparently. Oh no, I was getting the step up. No, it's not even a step up actually. I don't think. No, I'm not. That wasn't the one I was looking at. I was looking at a Sci-Tech one actually. Where is this guy? That's what you get for scanning me, mate.
Scan detected.
Federal agent normally isn't. Yeah, the X-52 was the one I was looking for, actually, if I remember rightly. Where the hell are these dangerous people? I'm telling you, I should have bought my bloody... bugger all here. Do you have to climb? Do you think you have to fly more towards the actual Has-Res itself? Do you think? Maybe I'm just too far out. Oh, there was a ship here. Is that the stuff I've just... No, here we go.
Scan detected. Under attack. Shields offline. Range attack.
Right. Maybe this isn't my combat ship, people. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't get me, please. Can I get this up before I'm dead?
Frameshift drive charging.
The crap shields. Come on, we can do this. I think I managed to boost away from him enough. Right, let me go slip into my other combat ship.
3, 2, 1.
Oh. Okay, now we're going. Right, I'll be back in a second. Shinrata. Okay, that ship's not ready yet. I know it was an elite. I am aware it was. I'm aware it was an elite. It was an elite ship, but that shouldn't. My shield shouldn't have gone down that fast. Even though I was kind of. Everybody says pips to shields. Do you mean afterwards or during? Because I never have pips to shields. I know I should. I tend to use it when I'm flying away.
Frameshift drive charging.
No, I'm thinking about it, Kathina, actually. I'd end up sicking them on the... I know I didn't, because I have to be able to boost and move around. I'll come back. I'll fix it and come back. Oh well, that's the big problem there, Brian, because I don't want to be messing around with pips while I'm doing combat. What I basically want is a ship with an everlasting field. You know? Everlasting shield. Just forever. Doesn't matter what you throw at it. If I get the new thingamajig, I might be able to do it the new stick. But with this one, it's too... Yeah, I was thinking of that Cybersack as well. Because it is a luxury that I know some other people have talked about. They've said, you know, like I know, but then you can't shoot at anything, Athena. I don't know. So what should I kind of have my settings on in regards to weapons then, do you think? I don't want them running out, that's the problem. Well, maybe I'm just not used to it. I love boosting. You can't, you see, you can't do a turn to Top Gun's Highway to the Danger Zone. It just doesn't feel right. Oh. I'll give it a go in the stream, don't worry. Be back in a moment, Sarah.
Access granted. Please head directly for Bay 40. Automated docking initiated.
I won't say I haven't done that actually, Smitty. Why is my boost not working? Flight assist off. I've tried to do it sometimes and I had it set to something. Too much buttons. Exactly. What the hell is that? There's some weird little ship in there. Maybe I was just seeing things. Oh, right, yeah, I've seen that technique actually, Smith. It brings you to an almost full stop, doesn't it? I actually do that sometimes when I'm coming into land in a station. I'll use the, or on a planet actually, I'll use the landing gear to control my landing.
Ship is on the ground. Ground crew dispatched. Good to have you with us, Commander.
That is a big repair bill. Still got to cash in that 2 million, like. Right, so. Right, so we'll go. We'll try it with 222. We'll try it 321. We'll try it 321. Who the hell is that? Did everybody else just see that? And that wasn't a small ship. I think that was a beluga. 9-7.
Landing gear retracted.
I hate when you have to go to. Look, you're telling us somebody who's just started in combat. I'm not going into dynamic pip changes. It's not going to happen. They're not even at hand. That's the worst part. They're not even in a position where I can really change them that well. Right, I'm on my way back now, Cyber. So 2 minutes. Shall be there. Oops. I love it when it does that. Tried to kill me there. Oh, sod that. Even doing that, it's funny you say that, Joe. I use that for the, how would you call them? The side thrusters, I guess. So I use the hat for, you know, if I want to thrust up, down, left, right. And I really like that setup. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Ah, nice, Smitty. So you basically came in and got to see me getting blown up. Almost blown up. Congratulations. I can still run away. Well, 9-7, thanks for dropping in. Of course, you're always welcome. And all the other viewers, got 16 viewers in. People, if you've never come by and say hello in the chat before, come by and say hello in the chat, because that's what it's there for. Everybody in this stream is genuinely friendly, apart from if you're an NPC, Kathina. If you're non-NPC, then I don't know. Brian doesn't like the English. Neither does Joe Soap, for that matter. Oh, well, I might have that on my next joystick, so, Joe. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Right, you can start putting...
Warning. Frame shift drive operating beyond safety limits.
Why? Well, is that because I was going too fast or something? Don't know what the deal was there. Don't wing lock on me, Marshall. He did. Or did he? No, he didn't. I think I need engines now. The only problem is we've got no one with Healy beams, Cyber, so unfortunately. Oh, Marshall might have Healy beams actually. Ah, okay, I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know. Here he comes to wreck the day.
Target shields online.
Get wrecked. Oh, where's the next one? There we go. I just saw him there somewhere. hate it when I do that. That is one reason not to have boost. Oh, there we go. Oh, sorry, Marshall. I got a bit excited there, Marshall. I do apologise. Well, you're not pips. I've got the pips on. Hang on, am I reading an old part? Right. Oh, I was shooting you. How can he have so much chaff? You're not allowed that much chaff. Where the hell's he gone? There he is. He's still chaffed. I don't like that guy at all. At least we got money for him. I hate these ones that just seem to chaff all day long. Really gets my goat. Magic. look, another chaffathon. How did he get my shields offline from 100 to nothing? Ah, we're going round in circles here. I'm not a huge fan of this setup. His shields are online now. Dead. I've managed to avoid an asteroid for all that time. Doing these little slips to the left and bonds yet. I'm not ready for that big ship combat, people. I'm just not. It's alright, don't worry. It's only a game. Oh, it's not your fault, Marshall. I was getting him. It was alright. He was out boosting me or had me on, like, he was on some weird turn thing. Right. But why am I in this station? This wasn't the last station I was in. Oh, and I've lost all my transactions. Right, okay. Do you know, the thing is, when I had full shields, I was dodging those things like there was no tomorrow. And I thought it, just before it happened, I was like, I'm going to hit an asteroid here, so I'm going to hit an ice rock here at some point. Right, okay, so, transport services. Which one was my attack ship now? I think it was the Federal Assault ship, but I can't remember. No, actually, I think it was the Federal Corvette that is wanted. See how much that cost to get to. I'll get that sent here, and then I'll. It was the Corvette, yep. Right, so. I'll get a Sidewinder. Sidewinder of Doom. I wouldn't mind, I could have blasted out of there, but I honestly thought I had it. It was when he put my shields down. My shields went from 100 to 0 in like an instant. Sorry, not from 100 to 0. To 2 bars, I think, to 0. In what felt like an instant. Why is Cyber not showing up? Oh, don't know.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1.
No, I've engineered my shields actually. Yeah, I've been working on this ship ever so slowly. Don't know what my shields are. Let's have a look. Stats. Oh well, no, actually they're not great. 222, but I'm sure I've got. I think they're up to 4th. Armor health's 945. No, maybe they could probably be better. I knew you'd say that. They are... Byweave. Oh, actually no, I haven't started doing any work on that one. That could be why. I think I was supposed to go to somebody to do that before I went in combat. And let's go back to the ship. Are you still in? Are you? Oh no, Marshall's in Shinrata, so I'm going to quickly go back to Tana City because. Ugh. I'm going to just nip back to Tana City because I think it is 6, isn't it? Oh no, it's 4. I'm following one of Kathina's builds though, so I'm That's what you get for boosting out of a station. Live by the sword, die by the sword, Joe. Oh, it was an old one, I can't remember. I've forgotten what you put in the 7 slot. Can't remember what you put in the 7 slot. No, they're not engineered yet. But it might be that I've got these shields in for the time being because I couldn't fit the shields that you said, so it might not be you. Hang on. Hence my question earlier. And I'll be able to tell you that in 2 seconds. Ah yes, so it is. No, it's supposed to be a 7C one, Kathina. It is supposed to be 7C. There's a reason why I haven't got it in yet, because it won't fit. It's one of the things.
Scan detected.
Right, so I'll get in that other ship.
Steady traffic in this area, Commander. Be vigilant.
Landing gear deployed.
No, it's a 4C byweave. I had to put that one in for the time being because I couldn't get the 7 in. It's the mass, you know, the module mass size is too big and everything. Plus, she's got a ton of shield boosters on it. I want to see what that one's got. Even this one's actually got pretty low shields, considering. And that's an assault ship. Oh, my Federal Corvette's here anyway. So what's this one? This got 572 shields. I might actually be able to do some engineering on this one. Just check the outfitting. Oh no, that's got a byweave one. Okay. I might actually see if I can get that one buffed up a little bit now that I've got some stuff. It has, however, got a thing on it, and I don't know where it's for. SACMET group. Please don't be here. The SACMET group. I'm supposing they're in SACMET. Shut up, I'll get some shield boosters or something. Hang on. No, they're not in here. Okay. Okay, they're not here, that's good. Right, let's see. Remote workshop. I have no idea, actually. Probably because I've only got... Yeah, I can only get up to 3 on this one. And I've got it as high as I can basically go at the moment. But I can try. Maybe it isn't 700, maybe it's more. Maybe I was reading it wrong. Let's have a look. Statistics, shield health, nope, 572. She says now. I'm not blaming you. Okay, I shall put that in a little bit in a notepad report. Yeah, okay. Right, so let's just see if I can't get a few boosters at least. No, it's not on there, it's on no, it is utility mounts, isn't it, boosters? Damn it. Savage snipes, garbage. It sounds like one of the put downs in in Red Dead Redemption when you're in the theatre. To me. For moi. Right, I'll whoop. Let's have a look. Nothing there. Oh, we might have been actually, yeah. Maybe that's why he calls himself Savage.
Clear of the landing pad. You are go for departure.
This is how it's done, Joe. See? He might not have been calling me garbage. Is that a Fortnite picture in your avatar? Yeah, you would have, but it didn't happen, did it? Bum ba da bum 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 ba da bum 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 ba da bum. It just reminds me of Red Dead Redemption when you're heckling in the show. He just goes garbage. No, I don't, because people can drop in and say what they want. I honestly, it doesn't bother me at all. It's not something I ever think about, like in a bad way, because I just think there's a guy who came in a while ago who's like talking. I'm just thinking, mate, your fingers are getting tired. Do I save them for later? I might actually get somebody to mod. I might give. Yeah, I don't know that. I was going to say I might give Kathina modding powers. I'm not sure I could trust Brian. Every message would just get redacted. If he wants to come in here and call me garbage, by God, we live in a democracy and he should have that right. Funny thing was, his mother was saying exactly the same thing last night. So it's like water off a duck's back. I'm used to it now. Well, Jojo. Oh, damn it, there's no bad guys here. These are all federal agents flying after some... Oh, he could be a bad guy. He is a bad guy. Oh no, he's not. He's clean. Wow. That I did not expect. Oh. Where is he? There he is. I'm hitting him on fumes. I'm going to be hanging out the window throwing my thermos at him next. I can't even get a lock in them. That was pretty funny. Chuff, 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 chuff.
Destroyed. Scan detected.
No, 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 no. I can't even see it here. Garbage! Hack!
Target destroyed.
Oh, is everybody off? Sorry, I didn't see messages. 1 second. So, Kathina, okay. Don't worry, Kathina. 9-7, have a good night. Have a good evening. Hang on, where did Cybersec go? I did invite him back in. It's Napoleon Dynamite. Alright, Bob, have a good night. I've finished whittling on anyway, so you can all bugger off now. Oh, there we go, there's one. Die, bot, die. Damn it, didn't get me money's worth. Okay, Cyber, whoa. Oh. Where's he gone? My combat rank now, I give them a hard time for that. Oh, somebody behind me wants a piece of me. Garbage! Oh, that asteroid got shown what for there. Right, you're in solo. Whoops. Ow.
Target destroyed.
Did I not get paid anything off that?
Accelerated shield regeneration.
Ah, no, it's working now. It's working now, so...
Scan detected. Target destroyed.
I know. I never learn, Ellis. That's my problem. Never learn. Oh, I only just got clipped by it as well.
Destroyed.
Where the hell am I here? Maybe I need to slow down instead of perma boosting. There we are, there he is. Garbage!
Target destroyed. Under attack.
Oh, I don't know, I always like the wedding badge. Especially the one where he's not sure if he wants to go through with it. That's always a good one. I got some shots in there. Oops. Alright, Joe, thanks for joining in. Oh no! First big crash. Ah, it did stop me and turn me around though. Huckster! Garbage! It's Chico time. There's so many bloody phase alloys and stuff hanging around this place, it's ridiculous. I think everything's dropped. Ah no, we've got some stuff just dropped in, I think. Somewhere over by Cybersec. I think. I know, I've said I'll do a delivery mission with him at some point. Did I miss something? Right. Oh,
Come on, let's get within. He's going to be down before I get there. Way, 300 grand. Oops, sorry, Simon.
garbage. Radio. I'm gonna make this my last one. Oh no, well, he's dead. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Don't worry, Cyber. I'm gonna have to finish up myself because it's a bit past my bedtime. So I'm gonna just go back to the station, cash in these things because I don't want to fly around with them like the 2 million credits I lost earlier flying around with. I'm gonna try and it's actually 15 million if you include the 2 million that I lost. So. Listen up, everybody. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope people kind of understood what I was trying to get across when I was talking about state of the game and things that I'd like to see, changes I'd like to see made, and what I thought of kind of the beta and the experience of the beta. I genuinely enjoyed pretty much everything, and I really hope that Elite Dangerous just keeps on getting better and better and better as it goes forward. And then fingers crossed there'll be one day a new paid update that we'll all be happy to fork over our hard-earned money in order to have fun in new ways. So I'll call it a night on that, and I want to thank everybody for joining in, and I'll see you next time. Probably maybe tomorrow or the next day, but I'll see you very soon. 9-7.